welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton's Communications Department. And at the moment we are in Charles Taylor Art Gallery, which you can probably tell by the setting. And we're going to introduce you to this exhibit. My guest is James Warwick Jones. Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
I love an excuse to come by and see the exhibits that you have. And this one is a little bit different in that it's not one medium or one kind of theme. Tell me about it.
It is different. As far as I know, it's the first time it's ever been done in Hampton Roads. Hampton Roads is a very active visual arts place. Lots of artists, lots of exhibitions, lots of art centers. Every city has their own museum or art center, galleries, commercial galleries. But there are also a lot of artist groups, artists who have similar interests, sometimes with media, sometimes with geography, and they have artist organizations. Here at Charles Taylor Arts Center, we have a Hampton Arts League. We meet every month. We also have Peninsula Water Media Society, which meets here each month. And there are many arts organizations in Hampton Roads. What I did was pick 17.
That's huge.
It's
I
a lot.
wouldn't even guess there were that many.
Well, there are more than that actually. And invited them to pick artwork from their membership to represent their organization in the show. And the galleries here will accommodate about 135 pieces. There are 1,750 members of those organizations, so it's less than 1 out of 10 people could participate. So I left the burden of that up to the organizations. Most of them have member shows, have awards, so that would be one way they could select them, or popular vote from their membership. 3 or 4 of the groups asked me to select from images they submitted, which I did. So it's a very diverse show, especially for media, but also the geography all over Hampton Roads. So it is a little different.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And we've talked before and been to some of your shows that aren't traditional paintings, but I think when people hear Arts League, they think paintings, maybe photograph, and you have included Bead Society and pottery and what else? Well,
the Bead Society is represented, Ceramic Designers Association, and that includes both functional pottery, like tableware that you might think of, and also sculpture, clay sculpture. We have 5440 African American quilters, so there's a quilters group represented. They have 3 quilts in the show. We have the Tidewater Turners, which is a group of woodworkers that do wood turning with a lathe. We have Hampton Roads Digital Photography Club, so photographers. And
I believe there was weaving. Did I see weaving?
We do. Williamsburg Spinners and Weavers, thank you for reminding me. And all of the arts groups, though, have within their membership artists working in several different media. So it touches just about all the bases, I think, for media.
It's wonderful, it's eclectic, it's just a really neat way to get, you know, like what you described, this huge snapshot of the variety of art that is in Hampton Roads.
Exactly, and it was sort of a self-serving thing too, because it introduced some of the arts groups and artists who maybe have not been to Charles Taylor before, who have not exhibited here. So it was a way of kind of expanding our artist base too, and the people in the community, the artists that can participate in programs we have here at the Art Center.
I will also, and I know we're mostly focusing on the exhibit, but remind people that you have a variety of classes and educational opportunities here.
There are many programs going on during this show. For the Hampton Arts League, we invited artists in the show from all the groups to come and do a gallery talk. That'll be a little bit later in the month. We also have a poetry reading. We invite, I guess we have about 35 poets on our list now that come and write a poem inspired by the artwork. And then we have a reading. That'll be coming up later this month. And then we have classes and workshops here at the center 4 times a year. It's basically year-round. And those are weekdays, weekday evenings, weekends, children and adults. And we're expanding a little bit from just the visual arts too. In the fall, we're doing a bonsai workshop.
Oh, fun.
The husband of one of our visual artists does bonsai, and we were talking about that. He came and brought some of those and did a demo for our reception for this show, and a lot of interest in that, so we're doing a workshop with that. So the educational programs here are very important with our mission.
Well, that sounds wonderful. And if people can get here before June 1st, that's right. This is an amazing exhibit, and I really encourage people to come.
It's an exciting one, and you'll see work that you don't normally see maybe at the Charles Taylor.
Yeah, it's very different. And I've only seen the first floor so far. I haven't been through the rest of it, so I can't wait to do that. All right, we're going to take a quick break from talking with you and come back and talk with one of your artists. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Charles Taylor Art Gallery, and we're going to talk with artist Tisha Rose. Welcome, Tisha.
Well, it's good to be here. It's my second home, actually. I live near here. Yes, yes, yes.
And you brought with us a painting that is not finished that you're still working on. Tell us just a little bit about that, if you would.
It's a poor example of being in front of a camera, but this began in a water media, very loose. First I sketched it in. This is number 3 in a series of montages about Hampton. And I'm now going to finish it with colored ink. It has brighter colors.
You know what's neat is we see the finished products, but we don't always get to see the process. And that's, well, of course, the fact that I love it so much is that it's beautiful and that it's Hampton, but it's also part of the process. This is a wonderful opportunity.
Very primitive, you know, it's just very drawn in with a line, and we'll put a boat in here and we'll make it. We don't have the Charles Taylor in this one, but they're in the others.
James mentioned that. Well, when did you begin painting? Drawing?
Drawing I did in grade school. Then in high school there were not any art classes, so I lost interest. And in college I did not major in art just because. Then married and had a number of children, and of course didn't paint or draw. Worked in advertising, in drafting and that sort of thing for at least 10 years.
So getting back into it at that point.
Then at that point, I was painting on the side for people, and people were buying them. So I retired from advertising and did some book illustrations and began painting on my own.
Now, and you teach classes here and at Blue Skies? And one of the things you were telling me before the taping started was that you teach people to learn how to paint. Yeah, explain that to me.
So I focus on observation, in other words, our eyes, and I do the thing that was that had begun in the 70s when Betty Edwards got into this brain right and left hemisphere, and so it has now become very popular because there's many books out now on brain, understanding our brain. So I have my students, those that want to, some don't, and when they do, they're amazed, shift. And I set up situations where they are forced to switch from their dominating brain to their the meditative. That's right. That's right. And it's very hard for some people that are involved in very high stress, but when they do it, it's just such an aha, and then they're ready to paint.
Well, thank you for sharing an artist's perspective. It's wonderful to talk with you, and I want to go see the rest of that series. Did you say they were at Blue Skies? Okay.
There's 2 there.
I'll go back and look. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for this wonderful tour of the Charles Taylor Art Gallery exhibit. It's varied. There's beadwork, weaving, quilt artists, all kinds of painting and photography. I hope you had a chance to watch the work in progress for one of our artists, and I hope you'll get to this show before it closes on June 1st. Thank you.